Hello and welcome to today's section on putting all the apps on Odin project into one single page and linking them to each of the applications. So the picture will link to the application and the name will link to the Odin project article. So here I have all of this set up. These four are just ideas, these are just problems. So these will not have any applications linked to that. It is only linked to that article, specific article. And then the rest of this, restaurant page, to-do list, weather app, battleship game, memory card games, so all your typical web projects that will be linked into and is included in the Odin project. So let's look at the styles. If we remove the styles, the markup is pretty simple. There is a main event, and in the main there are divs. Inside div there is one image and one text, and then these are linked, the image links to the application live, and the text will link to the Odin project article. And once we remove the styles, then let's look at the bare markup. So let me refresh this thing, and it's only images and text, so everything breaks from there. So now let's start fixing these things into its own cards. So what we have here, let's start with our own style. So we'll need a style element. Let me put in the styles. Style goes in. First we'll have our star, which is margin will be 0, padding 0, and box sizing. So by default we have box sizing of border box. On our body, everything here is center aligned, so we'll have that on text align, center, and every image should be completely inside its div, so that will have max width. We have done this before. Max width will be 100%. So once we have those, now the images, there is no horizontal bar. The images are neatly within the div, and our links are also signed up in the middle of it, link aligned to the center of the page. So for our H1, which is the Odin project, for H1 it is on the center. Let me put in some margin on top of it. So let me go with 2 rem auto, margin 2 rem auto. That should, so that we have some space in our headings. And then we'll go into flexbox. So how do we flex it? So in main, every main, the div is inside, so displays flex. Default, it should be on the row. So flex direction, let me be explicit about it. It should be row. And my flex wrap, this will be wrapping. So we have a wrap. And the main div, whatever is inside, it should have width of 100% to cover the entire space, entire width, but also have a max width of 480 pixel, 400 pixel maybe. Let's check how it looks like. So now these have started to fall into place, but now it is on one side. So that means we have to have a justify the content inside the main as center. And also main div, here we will need some margin. So let's put some margin on this one. Once we put some margin, now these things are right in the center. So all our blocks have lined up in the center. Now what we want to do, we want to give it a rounded border radius. We want it to be 1 rem, and anything inside should be hidden. So overflow is hidden on the divs. So this will be rounding our images. So this looks a little cut off because images by default, they will always have vertical align in center. So we need to reset that to bottom. With that, yeah, we get a nice rounded edge in the bottom and the top. So now let's look at the A tags. So up here, the A tags will have, I have the images inside the A tag and also text inside the A tag. So to differentiate the text, I have put a P inside of it, and the color I have put inside is, so background, we can have a background on this. Let's say tomato, and let's have a color white on it. And I also want the font family. So the font family that looks good is Gill. So Gill Sans, and I have my font showing up. So the font showing up, I need some padding. I need some padding in the AP. So let me put in some padding. How much should I put? Like 4 pixel, 8 pixel. And text decoration, so we have to remove the text decoration from A text decoration none, and the font size I figured out 1.6 rem looks good. So yeah, now it is nice and readable. We can read the big text. And so I had alternate colors. On these A tags. So what I did over there, I put those main tags. So is this responsive? Let's check. Yeah, so these are responsive. So when I am making it smaller, let's make this small. So it's nicely lining up. Okay, nice. So now that color, alternate color. So we have to use the nth of type child, nth of type 2n. So let me use that. So in any main div, after the main div, we want main div nth of type 2n. So alternate of those, and A, I need a background of blue. So all the tags inside, background, A tag, and then there is a P tag. So we have to also include the P. Yeah, so we have the red and the blue. Or a better one might be crimson. Let's check with crimson. So yeah, so tomato and crimson, 2 colors. And what is missing now? What is missing is the box shadow. So each of these divs should have a box shadow to differentiate from the others. 0, 10px, 10px, and the color 999. So now I have a nice box shadow on the bottom of each one of them. The links are properly linked up, so that comes from the markup. And last thing that is remaining is that small response on hover. It was giving a little transition. So on the main divs, each of the main divs, I will give it a transition, and that will be scale, rotate, translate. So transition, translate Y. So this is in Y direction. It should be Y direction, and a little bit, just a little bit. So 4px. So is it transition or transform? It should be transform, I think. Yeah. So now we should get the on hover. So this should only happen on hover. So let me have that main div on hover. So that's when I have this translate. Yeah, so that gives me that nice response. Once I hover on it, it will respond by moving up translate Y. Minus 4x will make it go down. So translate Y. So now this is properly responsive. This takes up 4 cards per page on a wide screen, and on a small screen it will go into 1 column, 2 column, or 3 column depending on the column size. And we have completed all the pieces that we needed to make this product application showcase. So with that, congratulations on finishing this nice showcase, and let's have some music on to celebrate this. Yeah. So now all of these are looking good. We have 12 different projects and 4 problem statements from the Odin projects this year, 2023. And that's how we use the Flexbox to line up cards on our showcase. Thanks for watching, and I will bring another one the next week. So keep watching these small sections.